Hello, I don't have a baby. I put her to sleep because when you give babies milkies, they go and they pass out. um, so yeah, I was thinking during nursing that I was trying to give a lot of information and it was kind of coming all jumbled out of my mouth. So at the end of this video, I'm just going to kind of bullet point what I was trying to say and, get that to you quicker than watching these really long videos. And I'll include that in the email. I also wanted to include my birthing video, which I had a doula. She was videotaping. No, the doula was holding my leg. And my mother was videotaping. I had in the room, I had my mother-in-law, because this was her first grandchild, so I wanted her to be present if she wanted to be present. I obviously had Dustin, my OB, the delivery doctor, and my doula and my mother. So it was basically a lot of women. It was actually kind of cool because it was like a birthing center feel. I mean, it was a whole team of women that were trying to get this baby out of me. And it was actually really funny because when they give you the epidural, the first sign that you are actually about to give birth is that you start getting the shakes. And so this nurse came in, and she was like, it was like 9 o'clock at night. This was the second day of me having contractions, 48 hours. And she was like, oh, I'll come back in to check you at 11. And I was like, I'm starting to feel the shakes now. Maybe you should check me. And she's like, no, it's okay. I'll come back in and check you at 11. And then she looked at me again, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to check you. And I was like, okay. So she goes to check me, and she goes, well, there's the baby's head. I'm going to go get the doctor. I was like, holy crap. And I had sent the doula home. I had sent my parents home thinking it was going to be another night of Ambien, sleeping through it. And lo and behold, I was about to pop this baby out. So everyone comes rushing in. It was, a funny experience. For her to be like, okay, I guess I'll check you now, and then, oh my gosh, there's the baby's head. So, I'm going to give you the birthing video. There is no shot of my downstairs area. I didn't want that in the birthing video. It's basically just the last 10 seconds of me pushing. I was going through, you see me go through the ring of fire, which is basically when the baby's head crowns, and it's stretching you right there. That's the most painful part of a pregnancy, in my opinion. And you see that I'm able to control myself, and I was still feeling it even with the epidural, but I was able to control it. A lot of women, you think there's going to be screaming and huffing and puffing, and you don't have to. You can. I could have. I easily could have been like, "Ma!" the entire pregnancy, or the entire pregnancy, the entire labor, but I didn't because it wasn't going to be beneficial for me. Instead, breathing through the contractions and keeping my mind kind of like in a state of, we're going through this. Moaning really helps a lot. If you think about it, and the literature that you can read, birthing is a very, not animalistic, but it's a very natural. It's a very natural thing in the essence that if you let your body take over, you basically feel like an animal. I mean, you're grunting, you can be on all fours swaying back and forth. It's, your body takes over, and it's no longer like, clean cut Cassandra, oh, I'm just going through birth. It's something that's just like, it's innate, it's in you. It's a very, raw moment of womanhood. Which is why a lot of women, they actually want to go through their contractions alone, because they feel like they can't really let go and, do the moaning and do the heeing and the hoeing because they're kind of embarrassed or shy. And I had that a little bit. I mean, in my second pregnancy, I don't think I'm going to have Dustin in the room through some of the contractions, just because I could have been, I was kind of like withholding because I didn't want to look like the crazy birthing lady. But anywho, the only shot during my birthing video that is a little bit risque is you do see my chest. There's something that's called skin-to-skin contact. And as soon as Cecilia was born, they pulled up my gown and they put her on my chest. So you do see my chest. To me, my chest is no longer a woman's chest. It is a milk factory. So I'm not, ashamed to show it to my sisters. I made the video private, so only my sisters, my familial sisters, could see it. But I offer it out of an educational atmosphere for you, if that makes sense. Let's see. Dustin was in the room. He was holding my leg, but he didn't want to look downstairs, so he didn't. He did not see Cecilia crowning or her head pop out. In the video, you can see him just looking at the wall and looking at my face and looking at the wall and looking at my face, and then, she comes out and he starts crying. So, 3 things when the baby comes out. The goop in the eyes is completely unnecessary. If you have an STD, that's what the goop in the eyes does. It protects the baby's eyes from any bacterial infection on the way out. I don't believe you have an STD, so it's completely unnecessary. Cecilia has beautiful green eyes, no bacteria, or I didn't have an STD, so there's no need for the goop in the eyes. It just stings the baby's eyes, and the baby doesn't get to see you for the first moments of its life, which I don't agree with. I think as soon as the baby comes out, he should be able to look up at your beautiful face and say, "Hi, Mommy." So there is another option where you can ask for the goop in the eyes later, so that after that first half an hour of facial contact and facial recognition happens with the baby, then you can get the goop in the eyes, but it's up to you. We did no goop. We did not cut the cord until it stopped pulsing, because a lot of the last bits of nutrients and really important blood will go from mommy to baby at the last moments, and it's important to let the cord finish pulsing before you cut it. And I was stretched the whole time by my OB, so that when Cecilia crowned, she didn't rip me as much. She still ripped me to shreds because she was an 8-pound, 14 ounces baby, so I got ripped. But then you get sewn back up, and then you just have about 2 months of uncomfortableness while you heal, but that's all part of labor and delivery, unless you have a really small baby. Maybe you and Felix have small baby jeans. I have big baby jeans. My husband's head is the size of Texas. I have a huge head. So we gave birth to a very large baby. Let's see what else. Afterwards, in our hospital, we were allowed to keep the baby in room. The baby never left our sights. Any testing, any suction that they had to do afterwards, any weighing, anything that had to be done was done in the room. I don't know if you can do that at your hospital or your birthing center, but I highly recommend it. Immediately, we were bonding with Cecilia. Dustin would take Cecilia out in the hallway and walk around in the cradle, like you push in the bed, that little baby bed, while I would sleep. And then the first thing that you have to do is you just have to get to nursing. And one thing that happened with us that was extremely difficult for me to bear for the first 4 months of Cecilia's life was something called the nipple shield. The nipple shield is a silicone shield that goes around your nipple, and it basically, I have what you call inverted nipples, and so it's kind of hard for the baby to pull the nipple out and then begin to nurse. Nipple shield automatically, since it's like a little, it's got like a little nipple on the end, this goes automatically up to the baby's, the roof of the mouth, and so it causes her to start suction immediately. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world, because I was like, look at me, I'm already nursing, and it's only, day 2. And she got stuck on the nipple shield. I couldn't get her off. And so that's something that's extremely common. It's called nipple confusion. And Cecilia had nipple confusion for 4 months. And so anytime I wanted to nurse my baby, I had to go find this nipple shield wherever I left it in the house, wash it, and then put it on. It was extremely annoying. At the end of 4 months, her suction got so strong that she was pulling my nipple through the nipple shield, which was causing irritation and hurt and pain. At 4 months, I realized that she wasn't really sucking. At the end of the nurse, she kind of was like giving up because it just wasn't coming down on its own. And so I took the shield off, and then she started sucking more, and she would finish the side. And I realized that, well, she needed the nipple shield to latch on, but then I could take it off. Little by little, I weaned her off. We are nipple shieldless. Thank God. And we have been for the last month and a half, I guess. Yeah. So I put that in her baby box, and I will never take that out again. For my next baby, you either latch on, or I take you to a nursing consultant and we learn to latch, because I refuse to use a nipple shield. That's for sure. Nipple shields are so easy. You just put it on and the baby latches on, and you're like, woohoo, look at me. Yeah. Go through the motions of learning how to nurse. Go through the motions of going to a lactation consultant. Go through the motions of finding La Leche League. Go through the motions of talking to your doula and all the other mommies in Ave Maria. On all of the things that that nursing entails, which it entails the engorgement period, it entails the cracked and bleeding nipples. I had that. It's not the end of the world. 5 months later, Cecilia is the easiest baby. She sleeps through the night. She nurses like a champ. She's chunky. She's heavy. I've already lost all the baby weight. Whatever's left is basically my massive nursing chest, which I can't get rid of until I stop nursing. And yeah, I'm a size 12. So I started out at size like 18, and I'm down to a size 12. So in 5 months, I'm a vegetarian now by force because of my new eating disability disorder, whatever you want to call it. But that's okay, because veggies and fruit and fish are extremely healthy for you. I do miss beef and hamburgers, but that's too bad. And I miss bread, but that's too bad. I can't have it. I can't have wheat. And lastly, there's so many things that, pop into my mind, and I just want to be like, oh, and this, and oh, and that, and oh, and this. But, everybody's pregnancy goes differently. Everybody's birthing goes differently. So this is just information to know. You can plan a million days in advance, and then all of a sudden you are in labor for 48 hours and you have 3 induction medications, but you still give birth and you still feel the pain even though you have an epidural. Like, that was my story. I would talk to Kat Millard, see what she went through. I would talk to, not Scarlett, Mandy. I would talk to Mandy, see how she birthed Scarlett. And yeah, it's just basically everybody has their own subjective case. So, yeah. I'm going to cut this video off here. And get out of my husband's. This is Dustin's office. And so in Dustin's office, he's allowed to be a mess. And I can't stand being in here because I'm OCD clean, and I love my house because it's nice and clean, and I come in here and it's got bullet gun shells and boxes and all these things in here that I don't like. So, yeah. Anywho, I love you. I hope your pregnancy is going easy peasy, breezy. And if you have any questions with anything I have said, shoot me an email. I respond to email the quickest. And God bless. I'll see you later.